You know how childless people will try to advise you and pass judgment on your child-rearing decisions, because if they'd only had kids, they would have been so much wiser and kinder. Idiots. The parents I know have made it clear to me that that's how they feel when I give my opinion, and I know they don't care what I think, so I try to express only like up to 8% of my feelings. So when my perpetually cash-strapped relative told me that she was going to send her daughter to UC Berkeley, out-of-state tuition being enough to pay for a war in Syria, or maybe 2 wars, I said calmly, and I didn't mention the cash flow from my account to hers over the years, I said, well, what about sending her to her own state college the first 2 years, or, pause, community college? And the gathering rigidity in her spine suggested that she heard this as put Marie in a sheltered workshop for 2 years and then look back at college. And there are other things I hear that are not just stupid, because, you know, in your mid-20s with $200,000 worth of school debt is stupid in my opinion, as a childless person. But there are people, let's call them friends A and B, and I use the word friends the way you will stick that word, or any word, in a crossword puzzle, knowing it's the wrong answer, but you don't have the right word for what they are. So friend A was worried that her 17-year-old would get pregnant or in some other kind of trouble before graduating. So senior year, she told me that every night she was locking her daughter in her room at the top of the house at night as a method of birth control, apparently. And years ago, I took this workshop on called Managing Aggressive Behavior, which tells you how to act when people are about to flip out so that they don't get escalated. And so I took that stance, relaxed body language, and I spoke in a calm voice and I said, what would you do if there were fire? But that's a trick question, because there is no right answer to that question. So I didn't go above my 8%, which would have involved me saying, have you thought about a clitoridectomy? Because some people are saying that's really effective for curbing the kind of behavior you'd like to avoid. And then moving along the scale of abuse to things which I think a self-disciplined priest, and there's got to be at least one, or analyst would have a hard time responding to neutrally. And that's friend B, who was upset because her skinny and athletic 12-year-old wanted to eat the fun, unhealthy food at school, not the wholesome sandwiches my friend B made. And so when B saw in her open backpack an uneaten sandwich, she flew into a rage. She told me this, and took the sandwich and squashed it, ground it into her daughter's hair. And I'm not exaggerating. She told me this, and she was only a little bit embarrassed because the sandwich was older than she'd expected, so it was somewhat decomposed ham, which for some reason she thought was a more wholesome thing, a ham sandwich, than the school lunches. And so I figure the reason people are embarrassed about the things they tell me is that the only thing more embarrassing than child abuse is the shame of not wanting a child and not immediately pouring forth the amount of money a person would have spent on fertility treatments or futile attempts to adopt an orphan from China. So I can extrapolate from this that somebody who kills her kids to please some sleazy boyfriend and then invents an intruder, preferably a person of color, to do it, that this person is even a little bit more worthwhile than me. And that's still less than my 8%.